including the distinguished natural historian and broadcaster Sir David Attenborough, for taking a lead in the fight to tackle climate change. So has coronavirus blown that strategy off course, given the impact it is having on economies right around the world? And I'm delighted to say the President of Costa Rica, Carlos Alvarado Caseta, joins us live now on the programme. Mr. President, thank you so much for being here with us. I'll talk about your environmental efforts in a moment or two, but tell me more about how you've managed to contain coronavirus, because I think you've only had about 6 deaths in total.
That's right, and thanks for the opportunity. Actually, 2 months ago, we detected the first case, and to the moment we have 6 deaths throughout the country and more than 700 cases identified. The important part of it is that our lethality rate, it's 0.86%. That's to say, it's a very low percentage, and we have managed to lower the curve, and now it's under control for the time being. And we need to keep up working against coronavirus, but thankfully we have been successful in containing it because of what we've been doing in measures, but also what we've done in the past, investing in social security and health and education as well.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, because Costa Rica famously doesn't have a standing army. Instead, they funnel those resources perhaps into other areas like health and public education. Do you think that has helped in a situation like this?
Yes, that's for sure. 71 years ago, Costa Rica abolished the army, and those resources were dedicated for education and for health system and social security. Actually, our social security dates back to the time similar when the NHS was created in the 1940s. So we have a robust system that's now protecting our population. But what's the key message there is that, and that's one we're launching globally, instead today of investing in the military or in weapons to kill people, today we should be investing or using those resources for research, for tackling not only coronavirus, but the great threat we have before us, that is also climate change.
Well, I want to turn exactly to that, because I said in the introduction, Costa Rica has been praised by so many people for your plan to reach net zero CO2 emissions by 2050. But I was wondering, given the economic impact, how much is that likely to be blown off course, that strategy and that desire?
It's a complex scenario, but not an impossible one. And we need to keep moving in that direction. Actually, as it was mentioned in the previous pieces you showed to your audience, it's actually an opportunity, a possibility for changes of behavior, for new businesses to grow, more sustainable businesses. And coronavirus, even though it's a threat to health around the world, also has proven how resilient we are as a global society in order to change the way we behave. And that somehow gives me hope. The coronavirus, similar to climate change, are both global threats. But coronavirus is more, let's say, evident, given the deaths and all what's going on.
Let me ask you about the practicalities, though, because tourism, so important to Costa Rica, such a key sector, that gives you so much financial clout to do all the things you want to do on the environment. Given the restrictions now on travel, on tourism, and that is likely to last months into the future, doesn't that pose a risk to all those things that you want to actually do?
It does, but the thing here is we need to move forward in the right direction. For example, we're launching an initiative globally on tourism, because what it's required is to have the accurate protocols throughout the world for flight travel, for hotels and for restaurants, for example, to make tourism possible once again and to make it secure for everybody. But that is possible to do, as we've shown with teleworking and other behaviors. And at the same time, we cannot use this threat of coronavirus as an excuse to say, okay, let's stop our work on climate change. Actually, 2 days ago, we presented an ambitious project in Costa Rica to have the largest concession in the country of 100% electric train or more than 82 kilometers.
But there are
this
so
is
many,
going to reduce emissions.
But there are so many collisions, because you're absolutely right. You have very big plans about changing public transport, but 40% of your country's emissions come from public transport. You want electric trains, cars, trams, buses, but you get so much revenue from vehicles and from tax. So how do those two things marry up?
Well, the studies we have done and the economics we have run say that the electric train actually provides utilities for the society and for businesses, because it's a change of paradigm. It's not that it's going to destroy some things only, it's going to modify how things work. It's going to create a system more collaborative between public transportation, private transportation, and make the whole of the economy more competitive.
Just the briefest of final thoughts, because you touched on it already. Your hope is that going forward, we will manage to actually have a new normal, operate differently, but there's just as much chance that actually we go back to the old ways. We have politicians around the world trying to get their economies going. They're not talking about changing the way they operate, just to get back to the way they operated. That's the danger.
Well, it is, but I think we should follow the lead of some great people. I believe it was Mandela that said that things are thought to be impossible until somebody makes it possible, and we need to keep working on that direction. And I also believe it was Sir Winston Churchill that said that you need to make the best out of every crisis. And that is what optimism is all about.
Yep.
We need to move forward and use will and liberty to change things, and that's what I think is the name of the game today.
Mr. President, we've run out of time, but thanks so much for your time, for joining us here on BBC News. Thanks so much.